This video cassette examines identification and selection of typefaces, an important aspect in the design of a printed product or the design of other graphic communications materials for visual presentations. To anyone unfamiliar with the field of graphic communications, the thousands of typefaces available make identification and selection seem extremely difficult. It would be an almost impossible task if no method of categorizing and classification existed. However, it is possible to simplify the task and make it manageable. Many typefaces have been designed and introduced to impart a distinctiveness to printed products and for specific requirements of users of printed materials. Some of the things type designers consider when designing type are appearance, fit with other letters, visual impact, the amount of space required for the letters, legibility, and readability. When foundry type and hot metal typesetters were the primary methods of obtaining type, a font of type was considered to be a complete assortment of letters and figures in one type style and size. A font contained a quantity of each letter in capitals and lowercase, punctuation marks, and figures and spaces. Additional pieces of the most frequently used characters were included in a font. The lowercase e is the most frequently used letter. This is an example of a font of 12-point foundry type in the Spartan medium type style. An examination of the font shows the quantities of each character in the font. Photo typesetting machines and laser typesetters require only one of each character, punctuation mark, and figure to make a font of type. The relationship of points to inches is shown in this graph. 72-point type is equal to approximately 1 inch, while 18-point type would equal approximately 1/4 inch. Each style of foundry type was manufactured in a variety of sizes, normally ranging from 6-point to 72-point, with some type available in larger sizes. All of the sizes in one style were called a series of type. These letters represent a series of Bookman type in sizes ranging from 6-point to 72-point. Foundry type was usually sold in the point sizes shown. Intermediate sizes were available for some more popular type styles. Wood type and metal type was manufactured in larger sizes for special purposes. With the use of photo typesetters, computers, and laser printers, it is possible to produce a greater range of type sizes in a series than was practical with hot metal typesetters and foundry type. A family of type includes all the variations of one type style in all of the sizes that are available. Variations of type styles and their italics are light, regular, medium, bold, condensed, expanded, and others less frequently used. The designation of type fonts, series, and families have carried over into photo typesetting and electronic imaging with only slight changes in their meaning. Type is used for text and display purposes. Text type represents the type size and style selected for the text material contained in a publication. Display type represents the type styles and sizes selected to be used with text type to draw attention and emphasize certain aspects of typeset materials. The text type in a newspaper is used to set the body of a news story. Display type is used for the headline for the story. Text type is used in newspaper or magazine advertisements to convey the lengthy descriptive information, while display type is used to draw attention and to emphasize the more important points of information. Text type for a book is used to convey the story. Display type is used for chapter headings and to draw attention to certain points within the text material. To conserve space on the printed page, text type is generally set between 7 and 11 points in size. Text for some advertising purposes and children's books is often larger, while text type for some lengthy publications is set in a smaller type size to conserve paper. The display type which is used with text is selected with the thought in mind that it will be aesthetically pleasing and suitable for conveying the message to the consumer. The identity of many corporations is linked to the type styles and accompanying designs used with their advertising materials. To remember all the styles by name is a monumental task. Many type styles have been named after their designer, Bodoni, some after places, Chicago, and others after the use for which it was designed, such as this Times Roman face designed for use by Time Incorporated in its publications. Among the requirements for this type style were that it be designed for readability and that more characters fit on one line, thus conserving space and paper. In order to effectively manage the large number of type styles that are available, a method of categorizing types has evolved. All of the type styles that have been designed for use in the United States can be categorized in one of the type categories. Some variations in these categories are recognized among typesetting practitioners. Generally used type categories are Old Style Roman, Transitional Roman, Modern Roman, Square Serif, Sans Serif, Script or Cursive, Text Letter or Gothic, Novelty. The Roman alphabet had been perfected by the year AD 114, when a memorial column was completed by the Roman Senate to honor the Emperor Trajan's defeat of Dacia. In addition to carvings portraying the Dacian Wars, sculptors carved inscriptions on Trajan's column using the capital letters of the Roman alphabet. These letters have been admired and copied for centuries and served as the model for the development of the old-style Roman typeface. This is the appearance of the 19 Roman capital letters which appear in the inscriptions on the column. Centuries later, type designers added the remaining letters of the alphabet, H, J, K, U, W, Y, and Z, and developed comparable lowercase letters to create an old-style Roman typeface. Old-style type designs are patterned after the inscriptions found on Trajan's column. The transitional Roman letter represents the efforts of designers to create variations of the old-style type. These characters are more precise. Serifs are more even, with a smaller arc, and the character and elements are straighter. Modern Roman letters are even more precise than the transitional letters, with thin serifs and a greater difference between elements of the letters. Square serif type has blocky serifs. All elements of the type are usually the same thickness. Sans serif type does not have serifs. Usually, all of the elements of this style of type are the same width. Script and cursive typefaces were developed to resemble handwriting. Text letter or Gothic type is the style of type used by Gutenberg and by scribes of that time period. The final category of typefaces is novelty. This is a catch-all category for all the special purpose types produced, and for those type styles that do not conveniently fit in one of the other categories. A close inspection of the types would reveal that most could fit into one of the other categories. However, it is convenient to deal with them as novelty type. Learning the basic letter form for each category of type will develop an ability to recognize type from each category, regardless of the name given to the type. For example, Gaudi, Garamond, Caslon, and others all fall into the category of old-style Roman type. Bodoni and Brunswick fall into the modern Roman category, and Century, Cambridge, and Meriden can be placed in the transitional Roman category. A good way to recognize and understand the differences between the various type classifications is to practice sketching letters from each category and to study the basic letter forms of the categories. Most type trade houses and printing companies only use a fraction of the different type styles, but most have a selection of type from each of the type categories. The printing buyer or designer must know what type is available from the companies with whom they do business. Now let's look at some typography guidelines. Avoid combining too many typefaces in one document. Avoid combining types that have a wide variation in size or boldness or are too large for the overall design. Allow for adequate margins and white space in the publication design. The type should not be placed too close to the edges of the page. Adequate margin should be left to keep the publication from appearing to be crowded. Type should be set in a size that will prevent rivers of white caused by too much space between the words. This text has too much space between words because hyphenation has been canceled. Quantities of type set in all capitals becomes difficult to read in smaller type sizes. If the type is set in larger sizes, legibility increases. Small type set in all capitals, in italic or script style is extremely difficult to read. Type set in all capitals, in text letter or Gothic style is extremely difficult to read. A line length equal to 1 1/2 to 2 times the length of the lowercase alphabet is considered to be the optimum line length for best readability of the typeface in use. The selection of type sizes and styles for a printing job is an important task, which requires a high degree of expertise to produce a product with visual appeal and impact. Selection of a balanced, aesthetically pleasing combination of type sizes and styles requires a knowledge of type and experience in using it.